Well, a very good evening to you on this 29th day of April 2024. A very dark day here in the country following the death, of course, the death of more than 50 people in the flash floods witnessed in Mai Mahiu, Naivasha, Nakuru County. A situation that continues to unfold even as the rescue operations continue. As of course, reports indicate that many people could still be trapped in the rubble. Now, that flash floods happened at around 2 a.m. on Monday morning, with first responders on ground rescuing several people. Now, as at now, the government says it is ready to, of course, accord support to those affected, with the head of state noting that the government is fully prepared to assist those who've been affected by the raging waters across the country, not only in Mai Mahiu, Naivasha, but across the country, even as the Ministry of Education is on the spot in regards to a press release that was issued late into the night in regards to the postponement of school reopening. That, among many other stories we've prepared for you this particular evening. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines.
Tonight on the spotlight.
Katuleta mpaka juu. Nikang'ang'ana, nimeshika mtoto kadogo ya miezi 7 hivi na mkono. Mwingine miaka 3. Na ni wengi wametolewa hata wakiwa wameaga dunia hapa chini. Hapa tu chini hapa. Jirani nyumba yao ilibomolewa yote. Wote walienda.
Death, destruction and displacement. Floods wreak havoc across the country as a burst dam kills at least 50 people in Mai Mahiu. The government has advised Kenyans to take precautions in the wake of the ongoing heavy rains as the death toll rises to 103. And a late night communique from Education CS Ezekiel Machege sends the education sector into a state of confusion as school opening dates are pushed to May 6th.
Now, welcome to the program. This is the Spotlight. I am Ian Keitani, and our sign language interpreter is Angel Lois. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live on our Facebook and YouTube pages at Lookuptv. We kickstart our bulletin now, and at least 50 people have been confirmed dead and others missing after raging waters hit Mai Mahiu, Naivasha, Nakuru County, sweeping away homes and vehicles as the country grapples with weeks of heavy rains and devastating flash floods. Rescue teams are digging through the mud and debris trying to find survivors near Mai Mahiu.
It is a tragic incident that has left residents across 4 villages in Mai Mahiu, Nakuru County in unbearable agony. Most of the area residents going to bed on Sunday night unaware of what was awaiting them in the wee hours of Monday morning.
Mesikia maukuta zikibomolewa na maji. Sasa ndio wakati tumeamuka hivi, tumeamusha watoto. Tukaanza kuhangaika mahali ya kutokea. Maji ikajaa kwa nyumba hivi, katuzungusha, katuleta mpaka juu. Nikang'ang'ana, nimeshika mtoto kadogo ya miezi 7 hivi na mkono. Mwingine miaka 3, wengine 2 tena. Na hawa ndugu zangu tukang'ang'ana mpaka nikaanza kubomoa mabati.
It is reported that the raging waters that originated from a gully near a railway line that was blocked, thus forming a temporary water catchment over time, swept through the villages at around 2 a.m. in the morning. An incident that has left at least 50 people dead, with a number expected to rise.
Kwa na majirani nyumba yao ilibomolewa yote, wote walienda kama nyumba 2. Watu wote walienda. Mali yetu ile ilikuwa hapo nje, pikipiki zangu 3 yote ilienda na maji. Hakuna kitu tuko na, hata nguo ni kusaidiwa, nimesaidiwa asubuhi.
Following the incident, hundreds of area residents are counting losses to the tune of millions as they were caught in a catch-22 situation. The important thing at the time being saving themselves from impending danger.
Ni wengi wametolewa hata wakiwa wameaga dunia hapa chini. Hapa tu chini hapa. Wametolewa wengi sana hapo. Wakiwa mauti. Kwa nyumba hakuna kitu nimebakisha. Ni hiyo tu umeona hapo kabla tu imebakishwa hapo na hiyo kitanda. Kuna kitu kingine nimebakisha kwa nyumba.
The intensity of the flash floods remain visible in the vast Kijabe area, with the waters sweeping through 4 villages, ravaging through houses, vehicles and any other thing on the way. And as darkness takes over, residents remain in the dark, uncertain of where they will spend the night and what will unfold amid expected heavy rains, with some of them unaware of where their kins are. At least 109 people were rescued with minor injuries, were taken to the Mai Mahiu Health Center, with 32 others transferred to the Naivasha Sub-County Hospital for specialized treatment. Up to this moment in time, Lookuptv has been able to establish that at least 49 people from 26 families are still missing, with responders digging through the rubble to try and rescue those trapped. The Kenya Red Cross has pitched tent at Ngeya Girls Secondary School in Naivasha Sub-County amid calls for those with missing kins to file missing persons report in a bid to get clear details on the number of those still missing. Ian Keitane, Lookuptv.
May those who lost their lives in that particular tragedy rest in paradise. Now, President William RUTO has this particular evening released a statement noting that the government is prepared to, of course, ensure those who've been affected by the ongoing heavy rains get the essential needs. The president noting that the cabinet will sit tomorrow in a bid to assess the situation and, of course, ensure that those affected get what they need.
We are prepared for the situation that we face. We already have food supplies in place. We already have support for those displaced in place. The floods that are ravaging our country, we have close to 10,000 people displaced in Nairobi. We have already a robust program led by none other than my deputy, who could not even attend this meeting because he is focused on making sure that we deal with those who are affected. We have mudslides that are affecting Kenya. In fact, there is an ongoing exercise, as I talk to you, by the whole of government to make sure that those affected by the mudslides are taken care of. And tomorrow morning, we are having a cabinet meeting to be able to discuss on additional measures that my government is going to take to make sure that citizens who are victims of climate change, who today are suffering floods, they are suffering mudslides, are looked after. It is a realization that while we had a drought a year ago, today we have floods. A year ago, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Mozambique were having floods. Today, they are having drought. That is the reality. That is the new normal.
Now, the government is calling on Kenyans living in areas that are prone to floods to evacuate to safer grounds. This comes as floods swept Mai Mahiu last night, leaving a trail of destruction and death. And as Brian Amoy now reports, the Ministry of Interior has directed that any Kenyan found putting their lives at risk by crossing flooded rivers will be arrested.
Last night's floods left a trail of death and destruction. Mai Mahiu from above is an area marooned with traces of water evident from a high altitude. The color of earth, brown, an indication that the floods left a trail, and in this trail lies bodies of people that were unfortunate enough to have met the wrath of nature. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, on a tour to the affected region, called on the residents and Kenyans to take care and avoid areas that are prone to floods.
Kwa hivyo mimi naomba our people, tafadhali, madriver wa malori, wa matatu, wa boda boda, please don't dare nature. Kwa sababu mimi naona na ninasikia huzuni sana. Watu wakitembea wanakuta pahali maji iko na fujo, inatembea ikiwa na fujo mingi sana. Wagari wanaelekeza ngari huko ndani, imebeba watu, wanasobwa na maji, wanapotesha maisha yao, wanawacha familia zao zikiumia. Hata kama wewe ni kijana na unaona uko na umaarufu sana, ujue uko na bibi na uko na watoto, na yule bibi na wale watoto wanakuhitaji.
Tunaomba Wakenya wetu wote kutoka pwani mpaka Turkana mpaka huko kisiwani Kisumu. Nawaomba sana kila sehemu ambayo kuna maji mtusaidie kuhakikisha kwamba madereva na waendeshaji wa magari wa kila aina wahakikishe kwamba mmelinda maisha ya mwananchi wa kawaida. Kama Wizara ya Barabara na Uchukuzi, kazi yetu hivi sasa ni kuhamasisha wananchi wajiondoe kwa sehemu hatari, lakini pia tunawahamasisha kuhakikisha kwamba wamefuata maagizo ya kisheria.
The DP said the government has put in measures to ensure that all Kenyans are safe and sound and will get the help they need as far as bedding and food is concerned, and also a place to stay.
Kwa hivyo tumekuja pia kuleta usaidizi kwa ile primary school. Watu wale wako katika area ambaye tunaona tunaweza kuwa na shida watasonga hapo. Tumekuja na mattresses karibu 1000, tumekuja na blanketi, tumekuja na chakula, na tutaendelea kuleta chakula zaidi, tutaendelea kusaidia mpaka tuone ya kwamba hatupotezi maisha na tumelinda watu wetu. Tukifikiria tutafanya namna gani.
Mwisho, idara yetu ya barabara ikiwa pamoja na Kena wako tayari. Tumeweka makontrakta kwa kila kona ya Kenya kuhakikisha kwamba pahali ambapo tunaweza tunafungua barabara kwa haraka.
Drivers are to be wary of the unsafe roads, as Transport CS says his ministry is on high alert. Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has sounded a warning to those who risk their lives crossing flooded rivers and roads that they will be faced with the full force of the law. The CS also instructed inspection of all dams to ascertain the safety of those around areas that have dams, with recommendations for evacuation expected to be made after investigations. Scavenging through what is left behind in search of both the people they lost and what they owned, the future here looks bleak as the meteorological department warns of more rains in days to come. Brian Amoy, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Brian Amoy. Now, the government has announced the postponement of the scheduled reopening of schools to Monday, May 6, 2024. Education CS Ezekiel Machogi cited concerns over the adverse effects of ongoing floods, which have significantly impacted some schools. The last-minute announcement caused confusion among learners, parents and guardians who had already taken their kids to school.
This was the scenes on Monday morning. Bus stops with students ready to go to school, oblivion of the late night communique. At Kajiado Township Primary School, students had already reported for the second term studies, only to be turned back and instructed to come next week when schools will reopen on the 6th of May 2024, as per the directive from the Ministry of Education.
Kama walimu wajipange wasikie kama wangekuwa wametuambia jana ili usiharibu nauli bure. Sai bado nilikuwa naenda kufanya, lakini hata pesa nauli nimeshaitumia.
Parents who had already arrived in Kajiado Town to accompany their children to different schools were surprised after receiving the information, saying that the government should inform parents earlier for them to prepare adequately.
Pokea taarifa wakati nimefika hii town na nilikuwa nampeleka Kajiado Boys Primary School.
So ningeonelea kama ni vizuri wawe wanaweka fixed date ambayo inafaa kwa watoto, hata kama changamoto kama hizi zinaweza tokea, wangekuwa wanatangaza hiyo kitu mapema kuliko kosti wazazi waumie alafu tena baadaye waanze kusema shule itafunguliwa siku fulani.
Elsewhere in Kisumu County, parents have shown their disappointment with the manner in which the government announced the change in schools reopening dates. Kupet Executive Secretary Kisumu County Zabulon Awange criticized the government for making such an important communication in the wee hours of the night rather than doing it earlier.
Despite the fact that it was given, the notice was given very late at night and most of our students are stranded, some of the teachers also have reported, we are demanding that the government must declare the floods a disaster. So as a union, we are saying that the government must ensure that the disaster teams are on the ground to ensure that the schools are ready by next week.
Maureen Bosire, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now that story by Maureen Busiro takes us to first breather, but I just want to ask you, do let us know, what do you make of the government's response to the situation, the flooding situation in the country? What do you make of the government's response to the flooding situation in the country? Do talk to us at Lookuptv across all our social media platforms. We'll be back in a moment.
Come, let us show you place spot to build your dream home in Baraka Garden, situated just 5.4 kilometers from Blue Post Junction along the Thika Gatura Road. Place finest with secure gated community, Majina Stima Eco on-site, Usitans na stories za title deeds ziko ready. Plus, flexible payment plans and financing options. Pay 30% and clear the rest in installments. Get in touch, 20 site visit. For more information, contact 0794 333 222 or 0722 668 700 or visit our website www.mahasibuhousing.co.ke. Experience the beauty of Baraka Gardens today. Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Naitwa Rose Chalanga Towet kutoka Bomet County. Watatu nilianza na shilingi 10, nikaona kuna ushindi. Nikaendeleza kuongeza pesa. Mara ya juzi tu niliweka shilingi 300, nikashinda 90,000. Na ilifika. Nilipata congratulation, nikafurahia, nikapata tena 100,000. Juzi pia nikapata 2 lucky numbers, nikashinda 10,000. Nawaambia tatua ni real na muzidi kujaribu, hata ukiona labda saa zingine umeshindwa, umepotea, usiluso, jaribu tu, tatua ni real. Naimiza watu wa Kapkoros, watu wa Bomet Central wazidi kucheza.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
The government has advised Kenyans to take precautions in the wake of the ongoing heavy rains. So far, Kenya has lost 103 people due to the flooding across the country, according to the government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura. Ebikadenyi now files.
As Kenyans continue to be affected by the floods that is wreaking havoc all over, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura now says over 100 people have so far died in the floods, calling on Kenyans to take precaution. Speaking in Mombasa County, Mwaura said that schools reopening have been postponed by 1 week in order to give the government time to come up with safety measures that will ensure the students are not affected by the floods. Mwaura further added that the government is going to send food aid to the affected families.
Those who may have on transit today and they've had to first reach school before they go back. And that decision, we are calling upon the head teachers to be cautious about it, such that if they've already arrived at the destination and going back will make them to be to face the risk of flooding, again, the principal should make the best decision for the best interest of that student or that child.
Maura explained that Rift Valley is the most affected region, with 21 people reported dead, 21 people injured, and 21 persons reported missing. In Nairobi, 32 people have been reported dead, 28,484 households displaced, and 195,297 people affected by the floods. In Kilifi County, 1,800 people have been affected, as 650 households displaced due to the flooding of River Sabaki and its tributaries. The government has further urged Kenyans to stay safe and exercise caution by avoiding flooded areas and those staying at river banks to relocate after several rivers burst their banks. Ebi Kadenyi for the Spotlight.
Thank you very much, Ebi Kadenyi. Still on matters of floods, is the flood victims continue to get donations from well-wishers in Mathare. Pastor Dorcas Rigathi made a return visit to that area that is the hardest hit in Nairobi County. She, together with the Nairobi Woman Representative Esther Presoris and Area DCC Jeff Maina, distributed foodstuffs, solar lamps, kitchen utensils and sanitary towels to families affected by floods.
Elsewhere, 52 passengers have survived death after the bus they were traveling was carried away by floods at Suradoru area in Samburu County. Francis Renare, her driver who uses the Wamba Marara Road, has urged.
In Madhare's informal settlement, the sound of rain brings fear instead of joy as it results in significant losses for many residents. Among those hardest hit are women and children with their homes devastated by persistent flood waters, leaving some too young to fully understand the extent of the disaster. In the midst of the devastating situation, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, the spouse of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, for the second consecutive day continued her efforts in Mathare area by distributing food and non-food items to those affected by the floods. She pledged to persist in her efforts to aid those impacted by the fury of Mother Nature, promising ongoing assistance to alleviate their hardships.
Kuja tuchukue ile tutaweza, alafu tutatafuta ajira, kila mtu ajipatie chakula. Mimi ningetaka tufike mahali kila mtu ako na ajira na anajipatia mradi ya kila siku. Ndio maboys wa mama, tumesema leo munikubalie nikiomba muache kina mama waende kwanza, si ndio?
Joined by Nairobi County Women Representative Esther Presoris, who stressed the need for caution and urged Kenyans to refrain from confronting the floods, recognizing them as a natural disaster.
Serikali yetu inajali watu wetu. Serikali imeona kuwa Kenya nzima kuna shida. Na hata leo tunatarajia mvua zaidi ya kuliko jana. So kitu tunataka kuambia, tafadhali pale muko musipigane na hali ya hii floods, kwa sababu floods ni natural disaster, na mukipigana nayo mumeona tumesikia mabasi zinaenda na watu, matrucks zinaenda na watu, magari zinaenda na watu, hata watu wanaoshwa na hiyo mafuriko, si ndio? So lazima muwe very very careful.
George Kayesi, Lookuptv.
Now, 52 passengers traveling in an AIC Moi Girls Maralal school bus have narrowly escaped death after the bus they were traveling in was swept away by floods on Sunday. Samburu County Head of Police Thomas Ototo confirmed that all passengers who are from a wedding ceremony in Marsabit are safe. Elsewhere, police, with the help of Nyahururu residents, have retrieved the body of a 54-year-old man who was swept off by raging floods last evening while crossing a flooded bridge. The body of the deceased has been taken to Nyahururu County Hospital mortuary.
The road, saying that the road is in a bad condition.
Juzi leo pia kuna shida ya maji. Tunaomba serikali at least waweke daraja hii barabara. Maana watu wanaumia sana. Hapa pia kuna magari mengi yamebebwa na hii barabara. Shida ni mingi kwa hii barabara. Serikali tunaomba sana mtusaidie, muangalie mambo ya barabara. Iwapo kuna mgonjwa hapa hivi mtu atakufia barabara tu kabla hajafika hospitalini kwa sababu hii barabara.
6 people have lost their lives after a landslide hit their house, killing 3 adults, 3 children in Madhioya area, Murang'a County. The landslide affected 3 homes, destroying a 3-acre land.
Murang'a County experiences disasters, especially landslides. And when it comes to the landslides, we have Kangema sub-county that gets affected so much. We have Madhioya sub-county. We have Kigumo sub-county. We have some part of Kahuro sub-county. I know most of the households were not affected, but then all the farm crops were submerged in water. So what I can advise the community of Murang'a is let's be cautious. In case of anything, call us. We have our toll-free numbers 1199, and then we have Murang'a County offices.
The police in Nyahururu sub-county, with the help of residents, have successfully retrieved the body of a 54-year-old man who was swept away by floods while crossing a bridge after River Gadhara broke its banks.
Kisaida imetulete hapa, kuna mzee mmoja wa hapa tu hapa kwetu kijiji. Hiyo maji alikuwa anataka kupita, hiyo maji ikamchukua. Sasa hata alikuwa amefunikwa pale na hiyo majani ya mto ilikuwa imemfunika pale.
And in Siaya County, Governor James Orengo has asked the government to release mitigation funds that they were allocated to all 47 counties. Orengo has criticized the government for delaying to release the money in appropriate time, considering that the nation is facing floods due to the heavy rains.
The other thing that is doing of killing our constitutional order is by delaying remittances to the counties. The counties are not getting their money in time.
Daniel Omayo, Lookuptv.
Note, we just take a brief second breather. I'll be back in a moment.
Mvua kubwa kunyaa, mawimbi na ghadhabu yake ardhini.
Leo hivi kwenye bunge la wenyeji tupo katika sehemu ambayo wakazi ambao wanakaa katika sehemu hii ya mto huu wameathirika vikali na mvua ajabu ambayo inaendelea kunyesha hapa nchini Kenya.
Ilikuwa inakuja na manyumba za watu, maviti, na wengine pia walikuwa ndani ya maji.
Sasa nilianza tu kupiga nduru na ilipata kama kuna wengine walikuwa wamelala.
Imewalazimu wenyeji kubiri vyombo wasivyotaka.
Over 700 people are homeless.
Kuna watu ambao bado hawajapatikana, ambao wamebebwa na maji.
Kwao ni simulizi tu za pigo hili. Itakuwaje?
Na je, serikali itaingilia kati ili kuweza kutatua masuala haya?
Na mtu anasema ako comfortable, hataki kutoka. And I've had to give a direction that lazima sasa atolewe kwa nguvu.
Kuhama ni ngumu, hakuna sasa penye tunaweza pata place ya kwenda mahali kama penye tunaishi, hakuna venye unaweza pata mahali pengine, tushazoea hapa.
Mimi kwa jina naitwa Mzele Gereza kutoka Kwale County.
Kutoka Kwale County. Nakumbuka tulikuja Kibra siku nyingine tukakupatia Pro Box.
Ulisikiaje wakati ambapo unaambiwa Mzele bwana wewe ni mshindi wa brand new Pro Box?
Nilisikia raha. Mpango wa hii gari, mimi nataka kufungua hoteli yangu kwa sababu mimi nakuanga mobile chef. Gari niko nayo. Na ninafanya hii kazi. Alafu ndio nipelekee.
Na una deliver wapi na wapi?
Na deliver kwingi. Sasa hii napeleka Westlands. Alafu hii napeleka huko mbele Kichisuru. Probox imesaidia kuhusu kudeliver. Kwa sababu ilikuwa lazima nilipe Uber ndipo nipeleke, lakini siku hizi imenirahisisha. Ninapeleka tu, yani ni rahisi. Mimi nawaomba sana watimize ndoto yao kwa loto. Cheza loto.
Changamka, jinue na Loto. Ingia M-Pesa paybill 777-000. Account Look. Amount shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2,000.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Changamka cheza.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. We continue with a bulletin now, and of course let's take a look now at the flooding situation in different parts of the country. An aerial view shows how roads have been washed away as the villages are marooned, leaving residents displaced. Now, over 20 African heads of state and government have gathered in Nairobi for the World Bank's International Development Association Summit. The summit began on Sunday with a meeting of Africa's finance ministers from IDA member states. The finance ministers discussed the IDA's policy and financing frameworks and highlighted the key critical priority areas for development financing for Africa.
Heads of state and government trooped into Nairobi for the last day of the summit. The summit, which is being held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, brings together leaders from over 20 African countries discussing opportunities that will benefit youth from the continent. Leaders rally around an ambitious agenda aiming to improve lives and create new opportunities, with the World Bank's IDA as a cornerstone for success.
Like many IDA countries, Ethiopia faces unemployment and a skill gap challenge, with the government prioritizing accessible education to empower citizens while encouraging youth engagement in startups across various fields.
President William Ruto said the summit is crucial as it cements Africa's commitment to development, and also African leaders will unveil a bold transformation agenda at the Heads of State Summit in Nairobi.
Long-term concessional financing is vital, as many Africans and other developing nations face severe debt crisis. This financial strain hampers our efforts to combat climate change, transition to low-carbon economy, and adequately fund essential sectors like education, health, and social protection.
Majid Hussein, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Majid Hussein. Now, following President William Ruto's order to remove the verification of those seeking essential documentation, including identity cards, to community members near the borders, the government has organized a joint workshop with commissioners from the respective counties, led by Principal Secretaries Julius Bitok and Raymond Amolo from Immigration and Security, respectively. And as Stanley Lugaria now reports, plans to launch the initiative next Wednesday are gaining momentum.
Without much in a civil registration service workshop bringing together commissioners from all over,
Principal Secretary Ambassador Julius Bitok has reaffirmed the stoppage of the vetting by Immigration Department officers at the border, a forum that brought together commissioners representing more than 120 constituencies to implement according to his order President William RUTO starting on Wednesday, 1st May.
So we called upon a meeting between all the registrars of the National Registration Bureau and all the RCs and county commissioners to be able to engage with them on the modalities of implementation of the presidential directive. So I want to assure the country that we are ready and we have put in place strategies and plans to ensure that starting on 1st of May this year, there will be no longer vetting for security, for IDs, for passports, and for birth certificates.
Bitok reiterated that the effectiveness of the project will be greatly boosted by the implementation of Maisha Number, explaining that last year, the ministry registered 2.5 million people in the program, and it aims to register 3 million people this year, as it aims to ensure everyone's data is stored and available digitally.
You are aware we have been having a problem with so many identity thefts, but with this new card, you cannot seal it because when it is checked in the chip, it will show who the card belongs to.
According to Bitok, the removal of the vetting and verification of the people will remove the challenges experienced by those seeking services, as chiefs will be responsible for identifying and approving people from areas they represent, a role that has been held by the Immigration Department.
Done away with vetting because it was discriminatory, and that we are going to use technology because all our systems will be integrated. We're integrating the birth certificate, civil registration system, to national registration, to passport.
Now the policy pushes towards greater accountability and transparency in the issuance of ID cards and ensures that Kenyans are issued with identification documents without compromising the security of the country.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
Now, JSS teachers in different parts of the country engaged in nationwide demonstrations to pile pressure on TSC over their contractual terms. In Machakos County, however, the teachers did not participate in the protests, blaming the county security team for denying them a chance to participate in the demos.
As schools are expected to be opened all over the country, teachers of junior secondary schools have threatened not to return to schools next week when they are officially opened if their demands are not considered by the Teacher Service Commission.
No, and a big no to cheap labor.
Ikifika Monday, walimu hawa wa junior school hawatapatikana mashule, watapatikana sehemu mbili. Wapi? Nyumbani. Kama sio nyumbani, barabarani.
Mambo ni mangapi? Mambo ni mangapi? Machogu, mambo ni mangapi? Masharia, mambo ni mangapi? Ya kwanza, internship is? Internship is? Number 2, confirm? Confirm? Ya tatu, compensate our money. Compensate our money.
Teachers have vowed not to return to work if the government does not listen to them and implement their employment demands, including the increment of their salaries. The teachers want a permanent and a pensionable contract like other teachers after a court ruling by Justice Brian Ongaya that TSC violated the interns teachers' right to fair labor practice as they are qualified and possess teaching licenses.
Koti iliamuru tarehe 17 mwezi wa 3 mwaka huu na ikasema internship ni illegal, kumaanisha TSC inaendeleza mambo kinyume cha sheria. Ya pili, hao walimu wote kwa sababu ndio wamebeba kazi ya junior school waajiriwe permanent and pensionable. Ya tatu ni compensation ya huo muda wote ambao wameserve kama kandarasi bila malipo.
Lona Lorraine Ombuya, Lookuptv.
Let's get sporty now. On the National Olympic Committee of Kenya held a LEA sustainability workshop today in Westlands, attended by 60 athletes from the Olympics and Commonwealth Federation. The main aim of the workshop is to harness the power of sport and combat climate change and mismanagement of natural resources such as air pollution.
deploying some system to be able to report on the air quality monitoring, which was very encouraging too. Was one of the major, proposed measure for reducing the emission, because there was an aspect that would be a whole group discussion that focused on developing or presenting the policy draft. The area 3, which is about mobility, they proposed a lot of.
We were given an opportunity to sign the document, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And when I read through, I thought it was important for us to get involved, because I could also hear sometimes in the media, when you read papers and so on, the whole world is talking about climate change. And so we thought it was important that we also look at this and find out what is our responsibility in this.
We started our program much earlier in the year 2002 for sustainable development and climate change. We have a program in Taekwondo called Taekwondo Turn Green. And for the past 2 years, we've been engaged in tree planting exercises. So far, we've planted over 1,000 trees. We've partnered with the prison departments. We've partnered with Kenya Defense Forces and schools. And as today, we are very lucky that the National Olympic of Kenya has called all of us to synergize, all the federation to synergize and at least come up with policies and strategies that will sustain and maintain the climate change.
Now, Chapoti FC thrashed Talau FC 2-0 in the Taino Rotino Cup, played at Talau Secondary School football field in West Pokot County. The tournament, organized by sponsors, the tournament, organized by various sponsors, main aim was to assist the youth in the fight against drug abuse during the holiday period. Taino Rotino, who is the sponsor of the tournament, stated that over 100 youths benefited from the program.
Tumekuwa tukifanya mchezo kwa vijana kwa miaka karibu 7 hivi, na madhumuni ya mchezo hii ni kuhakikisha kwamba vijana wanakuwa busy sana sana wakati wa likizo. Tunataka vijana ambao wamejihusisha na maneno kama madawa za kulevya, pombe, tunataka kwamba wakati huu wa likizo wakuwe busy na waweze kujihusisha na mchezo. Sasa vile tumepanga ni vijana wanafanya mazoezi kuanzia Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, alafu Jumamosi na Jumapili wanakuja kiwanjani kucheza mchezo. Sasa hii inamaanisha kwamba hawana ile wakati ya kujihusisha na mambo ambazo haziambatani na maadili za jamii.
Tumetunukiwa heshima kubwa katika eneo hili la Talau Sioi Ward kwa bimba hii ambayo inaendelea, ambayo imesponziwa na kijana wa Sioi Ward Taino Rotino. Hii ni dhihirisho kwamba serikali imekubali kukuza talanta kwa vijana.
Well, that particular story wraps up a bulletin at this particular moment in time, and just, of course, to remind us that the rescue operation in Mai Mahiu, Naivasha, Nakuru County is ongoing in the hope that other people can be rescued alive. We'll be keeping tabs with that particular story tomorrow across, and of course, what's happening across the country in terms of the flooding situation, just to keep you updated. Until then, of course, you can have yourself a wonderful night, and like always, God bless.